Now, welcome to you all in this online class. Dear student, as you know, today we are going to revise the chapter Turkish invasion, right? In which we will learn who were the Turks, why did they attack India, where they captured, who were the Indian rulers who got defeat. About all these things we have to learn, right? Now please do not write, right? Uh, okay. Welcome to you all in this online class. Here you see, this is very embarrassing. You have given one line. 1 minute. Let me to start again. Okay, let it be. जब कर ही दिया तो इसको शुरू कर देते हैं. Now we are going to learn about the Turkish invasion. As we know, the Turks invaded India because of the political disunity, right? Because of the political disunity. Actually, between this period, right, the condition of India was embarrassing. I mean, between 700 CE to 1000 CE, many small kingdoms emerged in India and fought for their extension. What does it mean? Since they were in large numbers and the ruler of small areas, so more powerful rulers of the small area wanted to conquer or capture their adjoining states or kingdoms, right? So there was the political disunity. They were disunited because they had the lust for more and more expansion of their territories. So they used to fight. They used to fight against each other, right? And they lacked the political unity. Why they used to fight against each other? Because for the extension. I mean, extension their empire. They wanted to extend their empire by conquering each others. Have you understood? Now, next was, there were many Rajput kingdoms, right, who were also trying to get control over each others. And they lacked unity. This unity of the other small kingdoms as well as the many Rajput kingdoms attracted Turks for invasion, right? And you know here, the Mahmud of Ghazni who invaded India during this period, the scene of his court is here, right? And this is the war scene, invasion of Mahmud Ghazni. They attacked India. Is it clear? Next is Turks. Who were they? Actually, Turks were the guards or professional soldiers appointed by the Abbasid Caliph, right? They became the governor of province by the end of 9 centuries, right? 9 centuries. they declared their independence, and one of the governor owned Afghanistan and started to rule as Ghaznavis. This was the name of their family of rulers, a lineage of rulers, a line of rulers, a series of rulers who ruled Afghanistan or their own kingdom, or Ghazni is the name of the place. It was the kingdom. He set up their rule there, and a line of the rulers of the same family started to rule there. Okay, so now these first two paragraphs, please you read. You go through the chapter. After that, I will highlight some main points and I will ask you something. Just I am giving 1-2 minutes. Now, in this way, you have learned, already you have studied. Now, you have learned who were the Turks, right? Actually, Turks were the caliph, right? Turks were the caliph. Now, who were the soldiers or guards, I mean professionals, right? Professionals, guards, professional soldiers or guards, right? They were very strong in their health and faithful to their state or the ruler. So they were appointed as a guard and soldiers. By whom they were appointed? By the Abbasid Caliph, right? By the Abbasid Caliphs. What do you mean by the Abbasid Caliph? Here, Caliph means the ruler, head of the Islamic world. After the death of Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, the founder of Islam, Caliph began to rule the Islamic kingdom. I mean, those who are the followers of Islam, they had their kingdom, उनका अपना राज्य था, और उस पर शासन करने के लिए जो आए मोहम्मद साहब के बाद, प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद के बाद, वो कैलिफ कहलाए. कैलिफ एक्चुअली, ये कैलिफ अब्बासिद कैलिफ थे. कैलिफ एक तरह से हेड हो गया इस्लामिक वर्ल्ड का एज ए रूलर एंड इस्लाम रिलीजियस हेड. What happened before the Abbasid Caliph? Actually, when Prophet Muhammad was accepted as the founder of Islam, the followers regarded him just as a god, just as the representative of Allah, right? And their words were followed just as the rule. So, Muhammad Sahab was, I mean, Prophet Muhammad was recognized as the head of Islamic world, as the ruler or as well as the religious head. But after his death, Caliph came in power. They were just like the ruler and the religious head of the Islamic people in Arabian country. And one group of Caliph was of Abbasids. You should know why was it called the Abbasid Caliph? Because it was related with Abbas family Caliph. Who was the Abbas? Actually, it was a Abbasid Caliph means a member of dynasty of Caliph, right? Who used to rule Islamic empire between 750 to 1258 from their capital Baghdad, claiming themselves as the descent from Abbas. Who was Abbas? Abbas was the uncle of Muhammad Shahib, I mean Prophet Muhammad. Is it clear? And after that, the series of rulers is started in Baghdad or in Arabian country. And those rulers, those caliphs appointed Turks as the guards or professional soldiers. Is it clear? One of them, I mean later on, by the dint of their hard labor and faithfulness, obedience, he got the favor of his ruler and they were appointed as the governor of provinces in 9th century. When the caliph became very weak, these governors began to declare independence. First of all, one governor on Afghanistan from Ghazni and started rule as Ghaznavid, right? That governor who owned Afghanistan and started to rule as a ruler, his kingdom was, or his dynasty was named Ghaznavid. Ghaznavi was a lineage of rulers, I mean series of rulers of Ghaznavi dynasty, Ghaznavi family of rulers. Okay, so in this way, this is the information regarding Turks. Okay, now next is what? Next, first of all, you know, one of the governor who started rule was Subuktigin, Alaptigin. His son was Subuktigin. And Subuktigin was the ruler of Ghazni. Right? After that, his son Mahmud Ghazni started to rule. Mahmud Ghazni was the son of Subuktigin and the ruler of Ghazni. He was born in 971 CE and ascended throne in 998 CE. He decided to attack northern western India where Pratihara was ruling, because in those days Pratihara was a very weak dynasty or empire. So he wanted to attack and capture it. He made 17 times attack. He attacked India 17 times within 27 years. I mean between 1000 to 1027 CE. In course of his attack, he looted a large quantity of wealth and destroyed temples, right? Temples, cities, and killed so many people. He created the terror and fear in the heart of the people as well as the rulers. He is regarded as the plunderer, destroyer in India, but a great builder in Ghazni, because he had built so many mosques, palatial buildings by the help of Indian artisans and their own country's artisans. Poet Firdausi wrote Shahnama about him, and Al-Waruni wrote Kitab al-Hind, in which about Hindustan is written. So you have listened to sufficient information about Mahmud Ghazni. Actually, teaching is not only for giving you information. It should be acquired as the knowledge. You should learn some new things from the action taken by him as a ruler. Now next is what? Why did Mahmud Ghazni attack India? And how did he extend his power in India? Reasons are as follows, right? To make Ghazni a powerful empire, right? As we know, he was the ruler of Ghazni. Ghazni was a small kingdom and he was a very powerful ruler. So he wanted to extend his empire. He wanted to be the ruler of large empire. He wanted to convert Ghazni into a large empire that was very small earlier. So for this purpose, he attacked India. Next, he had listened a lot about the prosperity of India, about the extraordinary wealth of India. So he wanted to loot it to make his army very strong so that they could conquer many parts of the world. Third reason was he wanted to propagate Islam, spread the message of Islam in India or in many parts of the world by controlling them, by capturing these areas. And last one, he had the personal zeal or lust to be the popular among Muslims. Right? In India, there were many Muslims, or by destroying all the temples, they wanted to please the Muslim of the whole world. So these were the main reasons of the attack of Mahmud Ghazni on India. Now, how did he extend? Actually, he controlled Afghanistan and Khurasan, right? He controlled Afghanistan and Khurasan to extend Ghazni. He plundered Nagarkot, Thaneshwar, Mathura, and Kannauj in India, right? To get control over it. Next, he attacked Somnath temple in 1025 CE to destroy the temple, to loot the extraordinary wealth, immense fortune that was beneath the ground surface and the pillar of Somnath temple. By destroying Somnath temple, he wanted to give the message to his Persian, Muslims, that these were the dedicated work to Allah. They wanted to please Muslims by proving that they were extending or spreading Islam by converting or in many parts of India and other areas. Now, these were the regions of attack and way to control or extend the empire. Okay, now next is what kinds of effects we see in the Muhammad Ghazni's attack. Actually, there were some effects. First, it made clear what were the weaknesses of Indian rulers, how they were disunited, how they were suffering from the lack of sense or idea of nationalism. It exposed the weaknesses of Indian rulers. Next, it laid the foundation of Muslim rule, because after that, Muhammad Ghori came and owned some areas, Delhi, Ajmer, Punjab, Sindh, and after that, Qutbuddin Aibak started the Sliv dynasty, that was the starting of Muslim rule. So it laid the foundation of Muslim rule. After that, many Muslims began to settle in India because of their trade purposes. When they used to come in India from Arabian country to sell or to purchase the goods, many of them settled here and they became a part of Indian society. Next, It brought the close interaction, relation between India and Central Asia because by the help of trade, their visit from one place to another, one country to another continued. Their settlements also brought the close relationship between their relatives of these two countries. And last one, it brought the great loss of wealth and buildings because many buildings were destroyed. It is why Muhammad Ghazni is also known here as the great plunderer, destroyer, breakers of buildings, and he looted the immense wealth of us. So these were the effects. Now, causes of the success of Gori and the defeat of Indian rulers. First, Indian rulers were disunited and there was the caste feeling in society, so they failed to be united. If the rulers or nobles were of high class or lower class, the different class did not use to support to them. It is why Indian rulers were very weak. People were dissatisfied with the rulers. There was no close relation or contact with the rulers. That is why public support was not sufficient there, which also became one of the cause of the defeat of Indians and success of Turkish rulers. Some Rajput rulers supported Turks. Next, feudal lords were more powerful and weakened the Indian rulers in the need of time or during the campaign of Mahmud Ghazni. Feudal lords did not support Indian rulers. And last one is what? Muhammad Ghazni's attack was in a better way. There was good planning and army was also well disciplined and advanced. While our strategy, I mean Indian rulers' strategy of war strategy was not good, not up to mark. This became the reason of the defeat of Indian rulers. I hope all these question answers you have learned. Now I have said to you that one test will be conducted. Now I am going to give you the link of testmos.com. You will copy it and paste on